Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Dwarf Fortress. Alright, so, in this episode, we are going to start preparing for merchants. We are getting close to the time where the merchants will arrive, and we would like to have something to give them so that we can get some important resources in return. So that is the first thing that we are going to, or the second thing we are going to focus on, sorry. The first thing I want to do is I want to kind of make this area of our workshop just a little smarter. And by that, basically, this quantum stockpile is nice and all, but there are issues with it. Like, for instance, if we happen to find any flux stone, which we should, I don't know if we actually have any in here already. Let me find out. How do we scroll down? There we go. Alright, we have no flux stone in there at the moment. I don't even know if we actually have any flux stone in our fort at the moment. It's something we're going to have to find eventually. But basically, if we have some, it could very easily get put in here, and then, you know, the masons take the flux stone and turn it into a block, rather than letting us use it for iron production. We'll get to that a little bit later on, but for right now, the main thing that we want, or I guess it wouldn't be iron, it'd be steel, but whatever. The main thing that we want right now is to ensure that we do not use stones that we're not supposed to. So the first thing we're going to do is actually remove a section of this stockpile. And we're going to remove it to about there. So this is going to remain blocks. Now the reason why I'm giving this so little is because eventually we're going to be crafting what's known as bins. And blocks can be stored in bins. And what bins allow you to do is they allow you to store multiple items in the same square. So if we look up at, say, our main storeroom here, you know, every one of these gems is stored in its own square. Well, if we had a bin, we'd be able to put all those gems into one bin. So that's essentially how that works. We'll get into how to craft them and whatnot a little later on. But just so you know, that's why we're giving so few spaces to blocks, because stones cannot be stored in bins, which is what makes storing them such a pain in the butt. So now that we've done that, we're going to go in here to our custom stockpile with T. We're going to disable food, because that's not what we're doing here. Enable stone. We do not want our metallic ores here. We do not want other stone or clay, dirt, and peat here. We want economic stone, but we want none of the flux stones. Also, we want none of the fuels as well. Now, I'm pretty sure this is a Masterwork thing. Maybe this is something that's being done in Vanilla Dwarf Fortress now. I'm not 100% sure. But it's nice that they show you which stones are flux with this here, which stones are fuels, etc., etc. Didn't used to do that. It used to be that you needed to basically memorize what all the different stones were. And if we take a look, what else do we have? We have some other stones down here. We do not want to use ink, leather. We don't want stable warp stone. I don't think we're actually going to find any, but just in case. Thatch wicker, none of that. And none of these colored things as well. So we'll just turn those all off. Again, not that I think this would ever become an issue, but with your stockpiles, it's better to be to err on the side of making them as exact as possible to avoid problems in the future. So with that done, what we do is we create our stockpile. So from here to here, that's going to be our stone stockpile now. If we click, you can see that we have the two separate stockpiles. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we go to our mason's workshop, and we're going to tell him, or sorry, it's on the stockpile, not the mason's workshop. My apologies. We go to the stone stockpile, and we press G to tell it to go into give mode. And then we select the mason's workshop, and we press enter. Now what this basically says is that the mason's workshop will not take stone from anywhere except that stockpile. So if there's no stone in that stockpile, but there's some stone in another stockpile, it won't work because it has to be in this specific stockpile. And you can use give and take. So say what I can do is I can come over here, and I can tell this stockpile, if I wanted to, I'm not going to do it here because it's not appropriate, but I could tell this stockpile to take from this guy here. And what that would do is this stockpile would not accept any items unless they came from this workshop. Now this will become a little bit more important later on as we get into, say, dealing with our clothing industry. But for right now, that's how the system basically works. And we're going to allow it to have up to 3 wheelbarrows. We're going to have to make some wheelbarrows. That'll probably be one of the next things we do, is to get those set up. So let's go ahead and unpause it, and we should see some dwarves come and grab some stones and drag them to this stockpile. And it'll eventually fill up, and it'll take the dwarves a little while to do that since we have plenty of stones sitting around our fortress. So how is this guy doing? He's making some bedroom sets still, so we'll let him carry on with that. Now, about getting our fort set up for a trading caravan. There's a few ways you can do trading caravans. You can set one up on the surface and then just do all your trading on the surface. Personally, I don't like doing it this way, and there's a reason for this. If you set it up on the surface and just leave everything to run on the surface, you're not very well protected. Now, you can build moats and walls and stuff to make it more protected, but we're dwarves, damn it. We do everything underground. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So I want to set up my trading room right over here. So let's do some planning, shall we? So we're going to have a trading room right about here. So we're going to have a little bit of a hallway leading into it. Then the trade depot is a 5x5. So to give us some room, I want a 7x7 room. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7x7, 2 on each side. Perfect. And then we're going to have, oops, not there. All right. Then we're going to have another little bit of a walkway. Now, here's where things get a little bit tricky on the planning side of things. Because trading caravans cannot use stairs. They have to use ramps. Because they have wagons. You can't really bring a wagon down a set of stairs. Bit tricky. So what we're going to do is we have to make some downward ramps. Which, if I find it in my list here, is... Let's turn off that so I can actually move my... why is that not moving? Whatever. Channel... Where is my ramps? I'm not seeing them. Downward stairway. Upward ramp. Here we go. So what we do to get this to the surface is we go like that there for our upward ramp. Then we move forward one, and we move up a level. Oh, that's going to be a bit of a problem because we're basically trying to come up underneath water. If we were to dig this right now, that would flood our fort. So let's not do that, shall we? So get rid of that. So let me see, how far forward do we have to go to escape the water? Right about to here. So let's carry on with our hallway like that. And then we'll start our upward ramp over here. So we go like that. And that should get us well clear of the water. And then again, we move forward, we go up a level, we go over like this. We move forward, we go up a level. And we go over like this. Never mind, that won't be required. It'll take care of it with this. And what this is going to do is basically, it will create a ramp to the surface that trading caravans can use. Now this is a fairly major security hole and one that we are going to plug pretty quick. But the first thing we need to do is let the dwarves dig that out. Now while they're digging that out, we need to get another workshop up and running. And that workshop is a mechanics workshop. So if I go build, workshop, build with B, W for workshops, and then we go down to mechanic, which is in here somewhere. There it is, mechanics workshop. Now there's going to be two reasons we want to build this, but the first reason is it allows us to build mechanisms, which in turn will allow us to construct a drawbridge, which we are going to use to make sure that that entryway is never open unless we're specifically letting a caravan enter or leave our fort. So we basically, before we can do this though, we do need to get our a dwarf with a mechanic skill set up. So let's fire up our therapist. And let's find a dwarf who is decent at the mechanic skill. Now, there's one thing I've kind of neglected to mention, but I personally prefer to sort all these columns by a dwarf's aptitude for a job. And to do that, it's not on by default. It's sourced by something else by default. But to do that, all you have to do is right-click on any one of these column headers, and you'll have this sort labor columns by level, role rating, skill rate. I prefer to go with role rating, and that way you can find who's best for the job. Now, as I said, we need somebody with the mechanics, or we need somebody to be our mechanic. Where is mechanic on here? Mechanics, here we are. So who would be our best mechanic? All right, so our best mechanic would probably be our miner. And she's got a 93.53 aptitude for the job. The next best is a 92.3, and that is our woodcrafter, which, you know what? He's also now going to be our mechanic because we really don't have that much, or woodcutter, sorry, because we really don't have all that much need for wood. So let's go ahead and get back into Dwarf Fortress. Did I remember to commit those changes? I don't think I did. Oh, yep, I did. All right. This one. There we go. Oh, I struck malachite bearing rock. That's probably up over here. All right, and they're going to go ahead and dig that out for me. Oh, okay. So here's a bit of an issue. We have this damp stone located, right? Now, basically, what this is warning you about is that there is a chance that if you dig out that rock, you will flood your fort. Now, I'm fairly certain, let me just try to remember how this works now. I'm fairly certain that this is that we'd be fine to dig under this because there's a floor between us and this. If not, we're about to flood our fortress. So let's find out. So let's go ahead, and all you have to do to tell them to dig there anyway is just, re-highlight it to be dug. And they will go ahead and dig that out. And let's see if I'm right. Okay, yep, I'm right. And again, they're going to cancel the job, which is, again, it's a bit of a pain in the butt, but it's not too hard to fix. You just have to basically keep redesignating. And they will go ahead and continue to build. Or dig, I should say. And as I said, we just keep redesignating the stones we want them to dig. It can be a little bit of a tedious job, no doubt there. What are these things? Badger sow. Okay. And as you can see here, we now have a ramp set up over here. And they're going to go ahead and keep digging these out for us. And I will keep telling them to dig the damp stone because we're just fine. There's a layer of stone between us and the water. But it's always good whenever you get like a hot stone or a damp stone, because hot stone is basically the same thing but with lava. Just take a quick look. Make sure that you're not about to do something very, very bad. It's, once you get a little bit more experience at the game, it becomes a little bit easier to tell. But again, it doesn't hurt to double check. Okay, so we have our mechanics workshop up and running. The first thing we want to do is we want to start making some rock mechanisms. And we're just going to make, I don't know, however many that is for now. What's all this now? Bauxite. Not sure if bauxite should be being stored there or not, but we'll leave it as is. How is this digging coming? All right, it looks like... Oh, almost.
We come here in hopes of a better life.
Ah, cool. We got some more migrants. Maybe we'll have somebody with some decent skills. We'll just wait for them all to come onto the map, and we'll take care of them. Okay, so that's that migrant wave. They're all onto the map, so let's go into Therapist. Read the dwarves. Sort them by migration wave. And let's see what we got. So we got this guy who is a butcher, but not a very good one. So we'll take that away. He's a farmer. Not a very good one either. He's also in the Crafts Dwarfs Guild, so he's not going to be very good at learning it. So we're going to take that away as well. We don't really need more than one farmer right now. He's a spinner. That he's pretty good at, so we'll leave that on. It's not going to see a lot of use, but at least we have somebody who can do the job. All right, next guy. Animal training. We don't need trapping, and we don't need a small animal dissection. Nor do we need dyeing, plant gathering, or shearing. Shearing is one of those things. You can really just give it to a whole bunch of dwarves, and it'll be just fine. There's no quality effect there. It's basically just speed. We have a armorer who is pretty good, so he's probably going to go ahead and be able to keep that job. We're not going to use it again for a little while, but at least he has it. Again, animal training and all this we don't need. We have a clothes maker. How good are you at this? 56, so no to that. You have decent siege engineering, which not something I use a lot, but good to have, I suppose. Animal care, again, we don't want. You're a decent leather worker and high-skilled and very good role, so we're going to leave that on. Leatherworking is something we will use quite a bit down the line. Plant gathering, again, we don't really need. Milking, we don't really need right now. Neither do we need spinning. Though milking, we should probably get on to sooner rather than later. Maybe in an episode or two. And again, here, we have a furnace operator. And that's one of those ones that it really doesn't matter. You can have 1,000 furnace operators and probably will. Let me see. We have a tanner. Which, how good are you at this, actually? 53. Never mind. We have a milling. How is milling related to archaeology? Something doesn't seem right there. Either way, we don't need it. And a cook. That we are going to keep. So you can be our cook now. And we don't need him right yet, but we should get a kitchen set up sooner rather than later. All right, and that's that migrant wave taken care of. So mostly they're what I like to call slave dwarves, which basically mean that they're not going to be doing much except for hauling stuff around for us. At least not for the time. At least for the time being. So, okay, so they've gotten that all dug out for us, which is great. Now, the next thing we want to build is we want to go build, and we want, where is it? Traps and doors, drawbridges. Where is the trade depot? Trade depot, right there. So that is a capital D, so Shift D for trade depot. And then we put it right in the middle of the room there. And we'll construct it out of shale. And the dwarves can go ahead and build that for us. Now, how is our mechanisms coming? So far, not great. I actually want to go into our therapist, find our, let's go back to nothing, find our mechanic right there, and we're going to remove all hauling jobs on him because we just want him to focus on building mechanisms for right now because we're going to want a lot of them in good time. So that done, he should get to those mechanics here shortly. Come on. Okay, yep, he's started working on it now. Perfect. Now what we're going to do is, to prevent him from traveling halfway across the bloody map, is we're actually going to set this thing to give its stones to the mechanics workshop as well. Now the only problem with this is there's other things that the mechanic workshop is good for, and by having a stockpile set to give to a workshop, it means that it will not just take other items from random places. So when we want to use the mechanics workshop to, say, build a traction bench, which needs either chains or ropes...
Sir, I hate saying no to you, but no.
Don't interrupt me, dwarf. We're going to have to set up another stockpile to give it those chains or ropes. Either that or remove the association just to build those. Either way, it doesn't really matter. Both of them are viable. I usually, because I don't build a lot of traction benches, when I want to build them...
I can't do it.
I said stop interrupting me, dwarf. When I want to build traction benches, I will remove the association, build the traction benches, and then I can reset it later on. How is this coming? We need masonry. Where's our mason? That's probably another one that shouldn't actually have anything to do other than, masonry. All right, you, what are you doing? Stone detailing is also your other job. And you're also set to hauling, which you're not going to do anymore. No more hauling for you. All right, and that should help to speed things along a little bit in a few different areas. Councils make stone bedroom set noble. Needs 9 economic rock. Okay, whatever. That will get taken care of, I'm pretty sure, by our manager. Yeah, we have 3 of those left. So basically, he canceled that job because he ran out of rocks, and the manager is just going to reschedule them. And that'll keep happening over and over and over again until, we have enough to make them, right? And in fact, what skills are we using here? That is masonry. So we probably almost want to get another mason set up in our fort. So let's see, who can we set up as a mason? Well, we have that mechanic guy who could potentially do the job. We also have this miner. But he's not very good at it. But then again, it's better to have a couple of masons. And the miner can do some masonry when he's not mining. So it helps out that way too. It's not great because masonry is a skill that kind of, having low skill will produce lower quality items, but we can turn it off later as we get better masons. So they're going ahead and doing that. Okay, so here we have our trade depot. Now, here's something very important. With where I've built it, I'm fairly certain I have depot access, but, how do you find out? Do you wait for a caravan to show up and then see if it can make it there? No. what you do is you press Shift D, and what this will show is where wagons can travel. So if you look up here, it's being basically a big bunch of red X's for some reason. But if we see here, that is an inaccessible depot for some reason. Why is that inaccessible? Shouldn't be. All right, what have I screwed up here? Let me see. So we can get there. Why is this all red up here, though? Oh, that is also very, very bright. Oh, you know what? I bet you it's because we have trees there. Let's try cutting down some of those trees. So designate, chop down trees. And we'll just remove those, and hopefully that will take care of that for us. We have somebody set to woodcut, right? We do indeed. All right, so let's wait for him to remove those trees and see if that will fix our depot access. Pretty sure they can move around trees, but let's just see. So that should be gone here in a second. Shift D. All right, that's a little better. That's more what I was expecting to see. So now we have an accessible depot. So it was the trees that were in the way. So that means when the traders arrive, they will bring their wagons down this ramp and into our fort. Now, how are those mechanisms coming? All right, I think we have them built, which is great. So the first thing we want to do now is we want to build a construction. So B for build, Shift C for construction. We want to build... Nope, sorry, it's not in construction. My bad. Bridge. Where are the bridges? Bridge. Paved road, dirt road, bridge. Here we go. That's G. So G for bridge. Now, bridges are very important tools, defensive tools for your fort. Because what you can do is these can turn into almost impenetrable walls. And the way we do that is we're going to set it like this. Then we expand it like this. So U to expand it up, M to expand it down, H to shrink it, K to expand it. So we set it up like this. Now there's one other important thing we need to set here, and that is which way the bridge goes when we close it. Right now, it's retracting, which basically means it disappears. If I press the S key, come on. Oh, sorry, not S. S is retract. If I press the X key, it's going to raise towards the bottom of the screen. So it'll raise this way. And the reason why that is important is because when the drawbridge raises, it will create a wall. And that can be used, basically, when we raise this drawbridge, it's going to cut off our fort from here backwards from the outside world. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to here. We don't want to build it out of soap. That'd be a little bit of a weird one. We want to build it out of blocks. And we don't have that many blocks. Let's build it out of shale, because we have plenty of that. Build it out of shale. And we want two bridges. We want one there, and we want another one right here. And the reason for this is we basically want to build a... how would I describe it? A airlock, essentially. So for most of our operation, this bridge will be open, this bridge will be closed. We'll wait for the traders to arrive, they'll get in here, we'll close this bridge and open this one. And what that will do is it will prevent any nasties from using this as a way to get into our fort. Because caravans are generally fairly well guarded. So unless you have something like a greater demon attacking your fort, I've seen it happen, you're probably going to be okay. So they're going to go ahead and build those. And we should have... I actually want to get mechanisms building on repeat. And we're going to use workflow for this. And there's a reason for this. Mechanism of any material. And we're going to set the range. And we want to build... I don't know, how many do we want? Mechanisms are fairly important. So let's say anywhere from 30 to 35. That seems about right. At least for now. And now the reason why we're building so... Alright. The reason why we're building so many is because mechanisms are an excellent item to sell to caravans. They are cheap to make, they sell for a really good price, and they're useful in the rest of your fort. So you're not just storing items in the beginning in the hopes that you'll be able to sell them or potentially use them later. Anyway, now that that's been done, we need to set up a lever. And the best place I find to set up levers is actually...
Sorry, sir, I can't do it.
Stop interrupting, you dwarves. Is actually in our dining room. Because dining rooms will generally have quite a few dwarves. So what we do is we build, and we want a lever. Where is the lever? Where is it? Where is levers? Oh, wait, no, sorry. Traps and levers, that's what we want. So Shift T for that. And we want a lever, which is L. And we're going to want 2 of these. So we want one there. And these take a mechanism to build. So we want that one there. And we want another one there. All right. So escape.
Sorry, sir, I can't do it.
Oh, quiet you. So now if we take a look around, we can see that we should have... Yep, we have our 2 drawbridges built. Perfect. Oh, we created a masterpiece, apparently. And we have a dining room set. All right. So while we wait for the dwarves to go ahead and build the levers, we are going to actually start setting up our dining room. And what we're going to do is we go seat, we're going to go into planning mode, and we're just going to set up a really basic dining room for now of just 4 tables and 4 chairs. And we're going to do that by setting them up basically chair, 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 chair. Just like that. And we go back to here and we want a table. And we're going to do the same thing. Planning mode. We go table, 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 table. And then we wait for the dwarves to put those into place as well. Oh, speak of the devil, we have a caravan arriving, so we should be able to see it. Let's resume. Where is the caravan? Caravan? Caravan. Where is it? Alright. I'm your liaison for the Mountain Homes. Let's discuss your situation. So this is a way that you can request from the caravan from your home city. Actually, wait, hold on. No, never mind. I was about to lie there. Masterwork adds this for every race, but in Vanilla Dwarf Fortress, it's just your home race that you can do this with. And what this allows you to do is you can go through and request goods from your homeland. And this is just a way to make sure that the caravans are bringing things that you can actually use. So what we want is we want to tell them that we want a lot of scale leather. We want some cloth. We want metal bars. Specifically, we want iron. And we want steel. And pig iron as well, because we can turn pig iron into steel. And steel. And the reason why we're doing this now, we're not really ready to set up our metalworking yet, but the reason why we're doing this now is because it's going to take a full year for these guys to come back. So we want to make sure that, if we are ready to set up our metalworking at that time, we have the resources to do it. Now, I haven't seen any hematite in our embark yet, which means we're going to have to get our iron from somewhere else. Either that or we're going to have to find some. Now, don't worry if a year passes and you're not ready to set up your metalworking yet, or whatever you're requesting items for, because there's no penalty to requesting an item and then not buying any. So you don't really have to worry about that. So, but don't request everything either, because the caravans can only hold so much, and if you request everything, then they're not going to bring anything at all, really. Stupid, damn it. What I want to do is I think I set this to the wrong thing. No, okay, no, it's set to the right one. All right, so we want that. Now, there's another trick you can use, and that is, just requesting a lot of iron. They're not really going to bring a lot of iron. So what you can do is you can request iron anvils. You can request steel anvils. You can request metal weapons. So let's say we're going to request some battle axes, and we're going to request some maces, and we're going to request some warhammers. And what this will do is they will bring metal items. On this one on the weapons we can't really specify what metal, but they will bring metal items that you can buy and then melt down. What else? Do we need them to bring anything else? Let's see here. What else do we got? pets. Do we want them to bring any more animals right now? Probably not. Vodka and beers and stuff are always good, but they tend to bring a healthy supply of those regardless, so you don't really need to request them unless there's a specific one you're looking for some reason. Maybe you have a dwarf that just really likes, I don't know, river sprites, and you don't have the thing to make it, so you can request some, but it's generally not used. We can have some extracts. Again, nothing that we really want here. Some meat, some crayfish, some plants, some stone. Some thread would not go amiss, but they usually bring some of that anyway, so I tend not to request it. What I do tend to request, especially in the early days, when I don't have everything set up, is soap. Because soap is one of those things that, when you don't need it, you never notice that you don't have it. When you do need it, you're going to lose dwarves because you don't have it. So it's always good to keep some around. Now, we have 1 bar, which isn't horrible, but it would be good to have some more. And we can also request these crates. So we're going to request a crate of iron bars. I don't think we'd be able to afford steel bars in that quantity, so we're going to leave that as is. And we can also request a crate of medical supplies. So we're going to request a couple of those as well. Now, these crates are actually fairly useful. They allow a... How did I get here? Where was I? Miscellaneous. There we go. These crates are fairly useful. They allow you to order basically items in bulk, essentially. I think there is a little bit of a cost discount, though don't quote me on that. I've never actually paid that close of attention. Once you get to a specific point, it's really not all that hard to buy out caravans. I think that's all we really need right now. A contract dwarf. I don't know what that is. Alright. So that looks pretty good for now. So let's press escape, and we will let the game continue. Now, I know this episode is going to be going a little bit long today. I just want to finish setting up our defenses here. If these guys will ever set up these items. Okay, the merchants have unloaded. Now, we will go ahead, because these guys are going to be here for a while, so I'm not going to worry about it right now. But we will go ahead and deal with trading with them another day. For right now, I want to set up these levers. We're going to add a new task to the lever with A. Then we're going to press B to link up a bridge. Now we can cycle through all of our bridges. We're going to hook up this back one first. And we're going to use just the shale mechanisms to do so. Let's see here. We should get another lever set up here pretty quick, hopefully. Actually, while we do that, there's one more thing that we need to be able to trade with these guys. And that is, we need to find a broker. And this is, I think, going to be the last thing that I do in this episode, and we will continue with the trading next episode. So let's see here. Let's find a broker. That's a bookkeeper. I want broker. All right, this Naglak is going to be our broker. So let's go here, back into the game. We press N to view our nobles. Go down to broker. And we find Naglak. Where is he? Naglak. Why am I not seeing him on this list? Oh, there he is. Because I'm blind. That's why. So we're going to set him as the broker. And then what we do over here is we click on the trade depot. And we press R to request the trader move to the depot. And what this will do is it will tell the broker that it's time to go there and start trading. The other thing that we need to do is we need to actually move some goods to the trade depot. And basically, the only thing that we really have to for trade right now are, let's see here. We have, what am I looking for? Barrels, quivers. All right. We should have some gems somewhere. Where are they? Why can I not find them in here? Unless maybe they're under stone, but I don't think so. No, it's just shale and stuff. There's no gems there. Why am I not seeing gems? I've probably passed them. All right, let's see here. An easy way to find them is we move over to here and we press S to search and we type in uncut. Nope, not uncut. Okay, what are these gems? This is... Okay, rough. That's the word I was looking for. Not uncut, rough. So go back into here, press G, move in all, we move over here, we press S, and we go rough rose quartz. And we're going to just select them all. Don't worry, we're not saying that we are selling these things for sure. We're just saying we want them moved there so that they're available to sell should we want to. The other thing we want is we want to move over some mechanisms. Now, the little icons next to the word basically is their quality. So, for instance, this is just a basic shale mechanism. Nothing special about it. This is a really good shale mechanism. So we're going to sell that one because there's very little difference between a basic mechanism and a masterwork mechanism. The masterworks basically will trigger faster, but it's not fast enough that I personally worry about it too much. Now we just want to make sure that we save enough of these that we can still hook up our drawbridge. So we're actually just going to move 3 to the depot right now and save the other 3. And that is where we are going to end it for today, guys. So I hope you have enjoyed this episode. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I will try to answer any questions and respond to any comments. And I will see you guys next time. So long.